try your best to find someone, something to at least express your emotions and, just talk about it, because keeping everything in is not the answer. And I know a lot of people, they don't want to bring their problems onto other people. My dad had that problem with, keeping everything in and, just always making it seem like he was okay just so he didn't bring his issues onto other people, because maybe he thought that was not their part to be dealing with issues that he had. So, and then eventually when you hold all these things in and nobody's able to tell, it's going to be very hard for you to get through it. You have to really go out and seek help, as hard as it may be. Keeping it in is, I'd say, one of the worst things you could do for it.
There's a whole host of reasons that would indicate that someone might want to seek help or something's going on. Anything that might be different for somebody that just seems out of place, or they just don't feel like themselves for some reason. I think that's usually a first good sign. That gut feeling that something's off is something we usually need to pay attention to.
I grew up in Grand Rapids, but I grew up in a small town called Hudsonville. As far as family is, I have divorced parents, so I have 2 stepsisters, 1 stepbrother, a half-brother, and then 1 real sister. So really large family. And then my mom's like my hero. She's at every single one, taking pictures or yelling at me from the stands. So they've all been super supportive.
Carlson drives the ball across. Diving header and a goal by Michaela Kovacs, the captain.
Before MSU, I played for Midwest United. I had some time in the national team camps as well. And then during the summertime, even while here at MSU, I've played in a lot of summer league teams, and every single team I've played for in the summertime, we've competed in a national championship. I always had something, like my mother would tell you, that since like high school, something was always a little bit off. I remember my freshman year of high school, just coming home almost every day after school crying about like, I have no friends, no one likes me, but like that same year I got elected to homecoming court. Like I had so many friends and like so many people around me who loved me. I knew it was there, but when I got to college, obviously that's a big change. So it just kind of hit harder of like the feeling, oh, no one around me wants me here. It just kind of hits harder when you get to a new place where you don't know anybody and you're not around that familiarity. I would for sure say it was depression. I was diagnosed with it my freshman year after I kind of had a situation that didn't go super well.
Rowing has one of the best canvases and playing fields in any sport. Each day the sunrise and sunset looks different, and it gives you a whole appreciation for waterways and areas that most people don't have access to. I think Michigan State has a storied history in women's rowing and the potential to move forward and be successful very quickly. And so I was really excited for that opportunity. I started coaching in the Boston area at community rowing and branched out to a few other high schools and clubs from there, and then moved to the DC area where I was the head coach for a high school program, and really from there decided I wanted to make coaching my career and passion. I think as a coach, I provide a lot of technical feedback and try to be clear and concise with my communication to the student athletes. I think I'm really big on positivity and reinforcement and enjoying your experience being out there as well. Humor and fun has a time and place. I think incorporating them into rowing and having it be fun while competing and training and being focused and driven is really important.
Coach Kim, she brings such like a different atmosphere. It's a lot of mileage, but it's a lot of good work, and she's really like boosting our confidence that we can push through and hit like all our goals that we want to.
I've never had a female coach, so having a female coach walk in and teach us about communication and how rowing can be fun. It doesn't have to be, constantly working out, constantly struggling through practice. It's fun to be here. It's fun to work with your teammates.
Rowing is a really unique sport that boats go faster when people work together. I think if you communicate more and clearly and effectively, and you try a variety of different tactics to get your message across, it gets more people on board. Programs and boats move faster when people work together and work harder, and so I think developing that investment in each other, not only in the boats but within the program, is really important.
Having the morning practice, I think, it wakes everyone up. Everyone's more prepared. In the spring, when our real season starts, we race in the morning. 6 a.m. year started. So having practice in the afternoon last year was a big change for race day. It give us a leg up, on schools that practice in the afternoon. We're ready, 6 a.m.
In the fall semester, practicing in the morning allows student athletes to take courses in the afternoons, so some of the science labs and things that are offered throughout the fall semester, and then in the spring, practicing in the afternoons allows them to be able to focus a little bit more on those courses that are only offered in the morning. So it's for student athlete schedule and flexibility, and then also for them to plan some of the internships, affiliations, and hours that their programs require as well.
Get on the water 6:30, pushing off the dock, and when we start, we just do a quick warm-up, rowing by 4s, 6s, pairs, just to get your body moving, get your strokes going. And then we just jump right into it. Today I think we did about 18K, so we're doing longer workouts, but they're awesome. I was a distance swimmer in high school, so I love the distance aspect that Coach Kim is bringing.
We haven't done so well the last couple of years, and I think this is the first year all the girls sat down and we were like, this isn't going to happen again. This is going to be our year. We're working hard at putting in the meters.
The first week I was here, we spent a lot of time meeting. We met as a large group and then individually as classes, and I kind of explained to them what my vision was for the program moving forward and asked them to give me the opportunity to move forward with that, and that changes that we make and things that we're doing differently aren't because I think that we were doing them incorrectly, but because it's the way I see us to go forward.
And with the new coach now, there's new horizons to hit. There's new goals. She has a whole new mindset. So we're coming in just confident, I think. It's a big difference from last year.
It's definitely been an adventure. The team has been phenomenally supportive and engaged and really excited for the coming year, and I think their excitement has made this already a really enjoyable experience.
The inside hitter, 6'3", junior from Corona, Michigan. Number 3,
growing up and being close enough to visit the games and see what the culture is here and what Spartan athletics really just has to offer it was an unbelievable experience. I looked forward to every weekend that we could come down here. We did. I usually knew every single person on the roster. I was the little kid waiting to get their autograph after the game, and just delighted to see them and have an interaction with them. Definitely made me feel special, that's for sure.
She's been involved with volleyball since the day she was born. She grew up coming in a car seat and sitting in a car seat in the stands. She got to interact and play with the girls, and the girls, treated her like a little sister.
Her love for volleyball, she just honed right in on that. When she was young and I was coaching high school volleyball at Corona, she would sit on the bench. She always wanted to be in drills. She wanted to be on the bench and learn the game side of the sport and would really study it. And when we would come to games at Michigan State, she would want to talk about what type of offense they were running. So she was very cerebral about the sports.
Hey, Mom.
What?
After painting, I need to play my volleyball.
We can play volleyball. Check your thumbs. There we go. Ready?
Yep.
Good one.
I remember being not small enough to be in the little kids camp, but being too young to be in the overnight camp. And I begged and begged to go to the overnight camp, and Kathy eventually let me. Every year from then on, my dad signed me up for every single camp. So I got 12 t-shirts every year. I got 12 posters. My favorite player was Katie Johnson, she was an outside hitter, number 11. Her picture is up in the rafters, up in the gym out there.
I think it was the excitement. There's always a lot of energy at games, and I think she aspired to be an athlete that could perform at that level, and so I think in her mind she was thinking this could be me someday. And she was just always enthusiastic about going and watching any sporting event.
I knew I wanted to play at a high level of volleyball in college around 8th grade.
She was talking about this was going to be her vehicle to go to college. And I said, that's not why we're doing this. We're doing this because you love volleyball. And I don't expect that from you. Your dad doesn't expect that from you. And she said, well, I expect it of myself. And so she was very self-motivated and just embraced the hard work that she knew it was going to take to get there. You don't want to place high expectations on your children, and you don't want to set their goals too low, but those were Meredith's goals, and we just did the best that we could to facilitate them.
We got to know Meredith early on as her dad is a team doctor for Michigan State Volleyball, and so they were at everything, every single camp. We saw both Mary and Elizabeth, and they were just growing through the program, and we got to see them and see how they were able to compete in those camps, and we enjoyed having them there. But we got to know them quite a bit.
I've watched her grow up and strive for this dream, and when she started to see that it could happen, I just tried to keep her grounded and help her make the best decision that she could. I think it was always in the back of her mind that this is home.
You're away from home, you are around new people, you're going through a whole new soccer program with new coaches and everything. Everything's different, and so it's just kind of a ongoing stacking of things that just come all together and kind of hit you in the face. When you're practicing or when you're in a game or around your teammates, you're thinking about solely soccer. But as far as the other aspects of being a student athlete, having to go to meetings, having to go to homework, you had a negative outlook on so many things. I would feel myself just close up. Things were starting to affect my mood more, and I would just be like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? I just want to go home. I just want to lay in my bed. I just don't want to be here.
Somebody on the outside looking in would say, wow, look at her, she's here at Michigan State, she's playing on a scholarship, she's a great player, people look up to her, but yet she didn't see that. The two didn't go together. So it was just kind of hard as a mom saying, look what all you have, look what you can do, look what you've done. She literally hit rock bottom, was, attempting to self-harm herself. It called me just crying and uncontrollably crying, and something that normally she doesn't do unless she's spiraled. Got in the car, I remember it was Super Bowl Sunday. It was during the game, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I got in the car, drove down here, and then, just was with her. I called and got a hold of Tammy, and who's just been incredible. Tammy and Stacy, they are such great coaches, great people. And we just got together, we sat down, and we just talked about, they are there for her, as well as that she needs to open up and kind of, tell people when she's starting to feel, these feelings.
October of sophomore year, I knew that I wanted to come here, and I knew that the level of play that this is where I wanted to be.
I can't really say it other than how proud I am of her, and knowing how hard she's worked along the way to be able to make this dream of hers a reality.
She had a goal at an early age and just made a commitment that this is what I want. She's very self-motivated and very self-disciplined. She has the athleticism, she has the knowledge, she has a lot of that package, but if she didn't have that internal drive, she wouldn't have made it this far.
You're in this community, you watch Michigan State through all of the sports, you want to be a part of the whole thing. And Meredith has come through that, and so there was high expectations for her. She has learned to take that in stride. I mean, it's overwhelming at first, and she's taking that more in stride, and she's developing her game as a well-rounded player. And it's been awesome to watch her grow and develop and mature. and just take that, like I said, one step at a time and keeping it in perspective.
I accomplished my first dream, and that was to be able to get here. It was so surreal. I don't think I really grasped it all at first, because I was like, I'm here, first of all, like this is awesome. And when I first put on that jersey in Italy and actually got some decent playing time, I was definitely nervous for sure, I won't lie about that. But they definitely gave me the confidence and the strength I needed to pull it out and just show everyone that, like, I'm here for a reason and I can do this. Being on the court finally and proving to everyone what I can do, it is surreal, and I'm just very thankful for the opportunity, because I can finally show everyone how hard I've been working and what I can do.
All of those little girls out there, having seen that it can be done, that you can go to a small school in the middle of Michigan, and sure, there are sacrifices that you make. She, missed some dances, or she gave up an opportunity to go to the movies sometimes because she had practice. That joy and excitement that she carries onto the court is worth it, and it's obtainable. It's possible.
When little girls come up and ask me where I'm from and they're from a neighboring school, just trying to interact with them and connect with them, because I know that makes their day, because it made my day when I was in their place and in their shoes.
Meredith Norris.
Let's see what you can do. All right, let's see if you got it. Here we go. Play.
Here we go, stay!
We commended her for being just so proud to be able to reach out. I think that there's a trust within our program, and it starts with Tom, and he kind of infiltrates it all the way down to say, on a good situation or maybe on a tough day, you have to know we have an open door policy that you can come to us forever, right? And everyone loves to hear that, but I think until you're faced with maybe having a tough time, not really knowing what she has to try to persevere through, what she tries to have to take on herself, or truly having being courageous and asking for help. When she made that step, because she's such a tough kid, we embraced her and we just said, thank you for being so honest, and that we'll take that steps with you, whatever that might be. In our Spartan family, if you need us, we're gonna find a way to be there for you, even if we don't have the answers immediately. She's a fixer. She goes in and dominates. So again, probably to her, she probably wanted to fix it herself first, but we commended her for coming to us, and because I do believe it does take courage, and that's not easy to do. And then again, once you come to and kind of open up that door, everyone wants immediate answers, and sometimes that's also the learning process. You might not get those answers immediately, but to know you have the support no matter what, I think that lets her exhale and know that she's loved and cared for.
All my best friends knew about it. So after the initial step of kind of coming out, and I hate to say labeling it, but after it was kind of labeled on you, people are more consciously aware of what's going on, and they can just kind of sense when you're feeling down. Kudos to my friends. They had a lot of strength dealing with just kind of sporadic things going through my head.
Everyone always sees athletes as people who have everything going right for them. They're always happy. They're always, never struggling. For us to just take into account that it might not always be as easy for someone as you might think. Basically always treat everyone as if, maybe something is wrong. It's always to be aware of what could be going on in someone's life is very important. And it's something that I've learned both through Michaela and family members, and you see it in the professional games now. Some people coming out with mental health issues, and it's hard to see those, and for us to just be aware of those is, I think, the most important thing.
I definitely see a difference in her personality now that she's kind of redefined goals, trying to find herself within herself and not defined as soccer or defined as a student, and then trying to go forward from there instead of trying to live up to everybody else's expectations, I think. And depression isn't usually something you can just decide and turn it off. I'm just proud of the journey that she's taken. You know, it's just great to see her blossom and work through these issues. It's just been a great progression, you know, now that she is where she's at, that she just wants to try to be more of a role model and try to just make a difference.
I'm so proud of Michaela. By showing vulnerability, I truly believe that is where strength comes from. And to have someone that is just so dominant on the field be able to say, hey, guess what? Even though I am doing this, I also need help. That's what it's so easy to rally around. This is the journey we're going to take with her, and we'll be her shield if she needs us to, but we can also stand back and let her soar too.
As a student athlete, we have such a voice. Why not talk about it? I'm comfortable. I want to kind of talk about it for other people that are feeling it. Like, it's not a weakness. Like, you can still be strong. You can still do whatever you want to do. Like, even though it feels like a blanket of weight on you, like, shouldn't hold you back. You don't have to stay weighted down. It's not something wrong with me. Like, something needs to be addressed about it, but it's not like I can't do things just because I have depression. For me personally, I'm at the point of my, I don't want to call it battle, but just with the thing I have, that I'm at the point where I feel confident that I'm doing well with it. I'm crushing it. It's not affecting me. But for some people, it does affect them daily. And I mean, that can change for me at any point, but a lot of people are going through it. So I think it's important to talk about.